right. Hello. Uh, I'm going to be doing a quarantine update for the two new angels that I got. I've got this veil tail, or long fin angel, and then a short fin angel. I believe they're both silver in coloration. This one has the long fin one has lighter stripes than the other one. But the plan is to do a water change. I have my bottles filled with water over here, and I have my bucket over here. The bottles have already been dechlorinated and sitting out for a while to match temp. This tank is on the floor, so I'm sorry if the angle's a little bit weird, but we'll I'm also going to move around the plants. These are fake plants. I really like fake plants for quarantine. Um, there's a sponge filter and the ammonia alert badge in this quarantine. So while I do love bare bottom tanks with things like angels, which are cichlids, they really need um, to be able to have places to feel secure, and they need to be able to go to another area and not be able to see each other. So when we're dealing with smaller angelfish in quarantine, this is a 10-gallon. It isn't huge. Um, so I really wanted to stuff a lot of these vision blocks in here. Fake plants are great for this because they don't die. They don't need light. So if the angels are stressed, I can turn off the light for a couple of days and not worry about it. They don't die with medication. You know, they're just, these ones are pretty soft. They're like the silk leaves. Um, they're weighted, so I don't have to worry about putting them in a bare bottom tank. They're ugly. I think that's the only drawback here. I wouldn't put them in a display tank, but for quarantine purposes, they're amazing. Um, but I guess the first step is to drain out some of the water so I can put back in the water. After the water change, I'm planning on dosing with medication. They have ick, and they came from a fish store, so I'm going to do a parasite removal. They are eating, which is a great sign. They were not eating, and they're eating very little. So, um, yeah, so I'm going to try and wipe out the ick, see if treating them for parasites gets them eating better, and then monitor them and see what else they'll need. But yeah. All right, I'm going to get started with doing a water change. Got my handy tubing. This, I take a turkey baster. I stick it in one end. I go squeeze the bulb, and the water will get sucked through. So I'm just going to pop this in here. I use the lid to help me keep it in place. I want it. Nope. I want to place it where the angels don't typically go, just in the back corner here, if you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, squeeze the bulb, put it in here, and as you can see, that starts the siphon really easily, and you don't have to use your mouth. Now I'm going to put the bucket here. I'm going to make sure that the bottom here and the bottom of the bucket are, how do you say, the bottom that is in the bucket is lower than the bottom of this in the tank. And then it will slowly drain everything out for you. So I've got this air stone. It's connected to a line. I need to find a splitter. So I'm going to wait for this to continue draining, and I'm going to go find a splitter, and I'll be right back. Alright, I found a splitter and a bit of extra tubing. A bit of extra tubing in my splitter. So the sponge filter is already connected to the air stone. I'm sorry, the air pump, not the air stone. Hey, new local Austin, welcome in. But I'm just connecting this to this, and then this part will be the one that connects to the air pump. A reminder, I am on the floor, so I'm sorry if I don't get a lot of these things in the shot. But this is the one that connects to the air stone in there. Let's pop this one out. I'm going to connect that to this. I don't know if you can see any of this, but I'm just connecting that smaller piece of airline tubing to, yeah, you can't see that. I'm just connecting that smaller piece of airline tubing to the air pump, and then turning the air pump back on. Now you can see, even though I didn't, I did turn the air pump back on, it is not going through. And that is because the pressure, so if I pinch here, you can see that it turns back on. And also, when I pop this in the water, again, I'm using the top of the lid thing to help me put this where I want it to go. And then I'm seeing when I put it into the water, it is not coming out the sponge. So I'm going to see where I need it to be for them to both run. Since they favor this back corner a lot, I'm going to put this air stone in here. I've found a lot with angels that when they're stressed out, they really like to be next to the air stone. So, by putting this air in with them, where I know that they like to hide, and it just gives it a bit of a help to them, right? So now I'm going to, I just want a little bit of air here in the back where they like to hide. Now that I've got the air stone pretty much exactly where I want it, I'm going to tie a small knot like this in the bottom where I connected it, and make sure it's pretty loose. You want like a gap that you can probably fit your pinky in at first. And then I pop this back, and then I can see, okay, both things are working now. So I'm gonna start closing this loop. Until both are running at what I want them to. Right, okay. Now, I'm looking here. This is a little under 50% because I typically fill to here, but it was evaporated to here. So while, yeah, I do want to do closer to a 50% water change, I have to measure for where I want it to be. Now, is it going to be a real 50% water change? No. But that's going to be fine because this is such a small area, and it's been only, I set this up about 3-4 days ago in preparation for the fish to come in. So it has not been very long. I've only had these fish for about a day and a half, maybe like 36 hours ish, right? So just checking the temperature of these have been sitting for a while, so they should be the same temperature as the tank since there's no heater, because it is hot. The water is about 80 degrees. So I'm going to pop this up just like anything else and hide that tubing into the bucket, and then I'll drain the bucket later. All right, so I'm going to move this like this because I want to fill in the back near the sponge filter. And then I just take it, I'm using the lid to rest it. And I want it to basically hit everything before hitting the water. Like I said, I had already put prime into these bottles. So they are dechlorinated. They've been sitting, so they're temperature matched. On the bigger tank, I do not use bottles, but for these smaller ones, it is fine. Again, next bottle, I'm again resting on there. I don't want it to be pouring so hard that you see things move. I really want it to hit pretty much everything before going into the tank, at least as much as possible. Oh. Alrighty. So again, filling up the tank after draining it, and we will be medicating today. I don't typically medicate so soon, but first, these guys have ick. And second, I want them into in the main tank as soon as possible because their quarantine is so small. Luckily, there's only 2 of them, and they do seem to get along, which is great. I bought them in the same tank at the store. The Longfin and this one were both in with some black skirt tetras. So if you notice the damage on the Longfin's fins, it's because it was getting nipped by some tetras. I like to leave about a pinky space, so the bubbles don't hit the top screen. And I'd say that's perfect. Again, about a pinky's width of space, so the bubbles don't hit the top screen. And since I filled with the screen on, I'm taking this microfiber cloth. First, I'm going to wipe down the front and the side. This is the side that they hang out on, so I want to be able to see them. But then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to pat that dry. These screens are great for air circulation in fish tanks. They're meant for reptiles. But they do rust, so I try to A, not get the bubbles up on the screen, and B, not let them stay wet for very long. That angle's weird. That fish is not laying down, I promise. The angle's just weird. But yeah. I can buff out the side a little bit more. And there you go. Now, I do see that there's still food. That is because I just fed them. And they didn't eat much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit more prime. I'm going to pop it in this corner. Um, I just added a few more drops of the prime to help combat any of that rotting um, rotting fish food. I will turkey baste it out in the morning. Maybe I'll do it now. No, I'll do it in the morning because maybe they'll snack on it. Like they're doing right now. Um, them being interested in food of any kind is great. So this is just this NutriDiet Cichlid by Seachem. They like it. It's pretty bland. There's not much in it. There's no coloring. It's got a good protein and fat amount. Some algae. Let's see. Whole ingredients: whole fish meal, wheat gluten, soy flour, cornstarch, chlorella, algae, spirulina, garlic, capsaicin, dried krill, fish oil, soy lecithin, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D3, thiamine, vitamin B12, dried Bacillus lichens fermentation product, dried bacillus. Yeah, it's just the list of the stuff after that. It's not the best fish food, honestly, but it is bland and filling enough where I feed it to my fish in quarantine, and I use it as a base for food, medicated foods, because it really doesn't have much in it. You know, it's a flake. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to wash my hands. Because I was playing with the nasty water. I'm going to move that bucket. And then, I'm going to let these guys hang out for just a little bit. Because I just changed their water. I don't want to stress them out. And at the very least, I'm going to put in the ick treatment for them today. And get them through the ick. Where, this quarantines only, right? So basically, in the morning, after they've been sitting in the ick treatment for a little bit, I'm going to go in and I'm going to suck up all the old food and any of that, ick spots that fell off. So. And then I like this kind of turkey baster. It has the small end, if you can see it. But it has this big basin. And this is silicone. It's good silicone. And this is a nice hard plastic. So I don't have to bleach these. What I do is I pop them in boiling water. I boil water. I put them in. I take it off the heat. I put them in. And then I let everything cool down. I take it out. And that kills everything. Right? And this one's been through a good amount of that. And it's still sturdy. But I like these. These are from Walmart. I think they're like $4 or $5 for one. But honestly, with all the torture that I've put this poor thing through, I think it's worth it, especially for the quarantines. For my display tanks, each of them have their own cheap, like, dollar store turkey baster. which is great for them, you know? All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna wash my hands. I see more people are in here, so I'll go over what I did. I did about a 50% water change. And this is, okay, well, I guess I'll start from the beginning. This is the 10-gallon quarantine tank for my 2 new angels. Right now you can see the veil tail. But behind the veil tail in the back corner is a regular silver. And oops, I accidentally deleted that. I meant to unpin that. So this is the 10-gallon quarantine tank. There's 2 angelfish in here. I've had them for about a day and a half. And I just did approximately 50% water change and talked a little bit more about the treatment options going forward. So these fish do have ick, and they aren't eating well. The long-finned angel was nipped at the store. It was kept with some black skirt tetras. They both were in the same tank. I added an air stone to the back corner over there, right there, because that is where the angels like to hide. There still is some food at the bottom because I fed them before the water change. I added some prime to make sure that if any of the food started creating ammonia before the morning when I sucked it out, that they would have a buffer. Welcome in, George. It's nice to see you. I like being here, so I'm glad that anybody is coming in and hanging out with me while I do this lovely thing. I am on the floor here because the quarantine is on the floor. It is raised up by some bricks. That's why you see that weird glow at the bottom. That is just a gap in the bricks. It helps me if I want to plug things in, you know. And Fish Fam Link is here. We appreciate Fish Fam Link. Means everything is working properly. But yeah, I'm going to do Fritz medications and that ICX. But I'm going to do just a general. We got the aquarium co-op called Med Trio. I think that it's fine in this case. I generally don't like over-medicating my fish. But seeing as these do have ick, and they seem to have, especially the small one that's hiding in the corner, you can kind of see him now, or her, but it's very round, so I'm going to say him. Flathead, though. Her, them. You can see the angel in the back now. That one is not eating very well. Pretty much nothing at all. The veil is doing better. It's looking at me. Silly fish. But yeah, I've noticed a couple ick spots on them, so I will be treating with the full trio of medications, which will hopefully wipe out pretty much anything. I have said this before, but for people who are coming in, what was I going to say? This quarantine is small. Look, they're fighting because they're cichlids. It wanted the spot, I guess. Excuse me. because this quarantine is small, I really want to get them medicated and inside the 75 as soon as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to medicate, and since there is basis for it, they have ick, they have a couple signs that they might have internal parasites. I just want to get everything. Also, the fin nipping is a good cause to wipe them for some bacterial too. So all those conditions combined are why I'm choosing to medicate right now. So again, fin nipping, lethargy and low eating, and having ick are the four signs I'm going off to go, okay, yes, I haven't had them that long, but they need medication. I know a lot of people don't know when to medicate, and when you're seeing signs, if it's better to medicate than to leave them be, I say medicate. When you want to add fish to your display tank quickly, medicate. What I wouldn't do is have a display tank full with fish and go, okay, every single month I'm gonna medicate. That's not appropriate in most situations unless you're actively dealing with an outbreak of something. So basically, it use your best judgment. Like I said, I listed my reasons of why, and that's what I'm going to go with forward, right? Okay. So I'm going to add the medications. I do wear gloves, and I do cover my mouth. I do not want this stuff touching me or getting into my lungs. I highly recommend that y'all do the same. But it's up to you how you decide to handle your medications. So I'm going to be using Icax. Paraclens, and Marison. This should wipe out pretty much everything, but we'll see. Got my measuring spoon. I got my Ekex. Oh. Ekex will stain everything blue. So I'm gonna take a pack of Marison. I'm gonna take a pack of Paraclens. I'm gonna put these two in first and pop the lid. Oh, really? You just dump it in. I like to get it as close to as possible. That's the Paraclens. That's the Marison. I'll go in. Get the fish to go away. And then lastly, I'm going to do the Ekex. it back on. Let everything mix in. As you can see, there's some bubbles at the top. That's fine. They'll go away once the medication is fully mixed in. Now, we just monitor and make sure that they're taking the medication well. If not, it's another water change to reduce the amount of medicine in the tank. So yeah, we're just monitoring, making sure everybody's all right. Hey, I don't know if you can see, but if you notice, I did leave the X next to the tank because I will be redosing it. So, next step after monitoring is leaving them alone. So I'm going to monitor them for a little bit, and then I'm turning off their lights and letting them hang out overnight and checking on them again, checking on them again in the morning, and then in about 4 days, I am going to give them a little bit of food and see how they take that. In the morning, I will be just taking my turkey baster and just lightly suctioning off the bottom of the tank to get any ink that has dropped. And that's about it. You kind of just wait a week. You don't really touch them. I like to only turn on the lights for a little bit, maybe like an hour, to check how they're doing. And then I like leaving them in the dark. It's not super dark, it's not pitch black, except for like at night. But I do like to give them low light for stress. All right. It looks like they're not going to need a water change. So that's good. Medication looks to have dissolved almost completely. They're looking like they're taking the medication fine. We'll monitor for another like 5 minutes. And then I'll turn their light off and let them hang out. While that happens, we can say hello to the guys up here. This is where they'll be going once they're out of the quarantine. And you can see the angels hanging out there. They're pretty happy. By the time I put these guys, hold on. By the time I put these guys in, up top, then everybody would be almost ready to have a round of medicated foods, and that will push out any eggs lying in the stomach for the parasites. Because these guys were treated for parasites, and that's it. That's all they had wrong with them. They didn't have any ick or anything. They do have a bit of fin dipping issue, but that's it. But yeah, so I'm going to let these guys simmer in this for about a week. The only thing that I'm going to do is top off with RO water if it gets too low, and suck up the bottom to get any ick out. But yeah, that's about it. They have enough aeration. They seem to be doing fine. Angle's a bit weird. That long fin is fine. That is just part of its fin that is floating up top. That's not anything else. It is a little clamped. But of course, we kind of, assume that with, the nipping. I'm looking for any signs of like necropsy in the fins because of the nips. But, or fungal, So we're going to keep an eye out for that, but hopefully the bacterial portion of this will keep that at bay. And it can start regrowing its fins. And the small one's doing okay. What I'm assuming is the female, the short-finned one. The long fin, from everything that I can see, that is a male. The long fin, the veil tail, the veil angel, whatever you want to call them. I do believe that the long fin is a male, and the short fin or normal fin is a female. A female, very round body. But we shall see. Because some of the assumed males up at the top have squatted bodies, which is a female trait. So, who knows? We'll figure it out. They're all still juveniles. Juvenile angels are pretty tricky. But it has been 5 minutes, and they are doing pretty much the same thing. I do think that they are stressed out because of the light, so I will be turning that off. once I get off here. And yeah. So I will try to be live again on Sunday evening. Um, we will see. We'll check in with them again. See how they're doing. If you haven't caught up, I did get these guys. Oops. Let me fix that for a second. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So I did get these guys. I got 4 angels to start with. One did unfortunately pass away. It was bullied to death, I believe. I tried my best in quarantine to keep them separated. I had 2 quarantines, 2 angels in each quarantine. And unfortunately, the smallest one did get bullied to death. I believe it might have ran into something, getting chased. But everybody else is fine, so I'm assuming that is what happened. And they've been in the 75 for about a week now. Everybody's doing fine. Any nipped fins or ripped fins from being in such a small space are healing, which is good. And I do believe, from everything that I've researched, I'm not 100% sure, that I have 2 males in here and a female. I think. Okay, I'm not an angelfish expert by any means, but I think. But I do believe that small one right there is a male, and that one right there is a male. I don't know if you can see that one, but I think that one's a female. But I don't know. I don't know. That one up at the top and that one over there at the bottom seem to be hanging out a lot together. They like each other a lot. And those 2 will pick on this one together. As you can see, look. Yeah, got him. Get away. And then sometimes she'll come out of nowhere and flank him from the other side. So, I don't know. We'll see. They might all be males. I don't know. It's also going to be interesting putting what has like the most masculine traits, which is the veil tail. It'll be interesting putting these 2 in, which are like super chill. I mean, the veil tail isn't not like there. It's still an angelfish. It will go up to the small one and be like, "Get out of my way!" But it's nothing like these guys. But I do know that it is also lethargic, not feeling too hot. But with the long fins, that fish, for its age, so it'll be interesting with the current top of the current king, which is a jerk. See, he just ran up to that one for no reason. I started picking on it. So, I don't know. One of 2 things is going to happen. The 2 biggest ones are going to fight for dominance. One's going to win. Or they're going to stay on completely other sides of the tank and both harass the smallest one, in which I would have to move the smallest one to the quarantine tank and find it a new home. Um, so we'll just kind of wait and see what we can do. I can't be worried about it until there's a reason to worry about it, you know. But yeah, that's where I'm at. We're hoping for a 2-week maximum quarantine. If everything goes right, I will be doing daily water changes, getting the medication out, seeing how they're eating. So it's 1 week of medication, 1 week of monitoring, and then it's time for them to go into the main tank if there's no issues. If there are more issues, then they stay in quarantine, and we'll kind of address it from there. But I'm gonna head out. I thank you so much for hanging around and watching my quarantine starting process. I will keep you updated throughout the quarantine period, and I'm going to be putting together a video with a bunch of tips and tricks and some stuff that I haven't talked about in live streams. But if you have any questions, please put them in the comments of this video, so I can look at them and kind of like gauge if I should talk about something. And so if you have a question about quarantine, once this is re-uploaded, please put it in the comments, and if I can answer it, I will put it in the main video. But again, thanks everybody for watching. I will see you on Sunday. Bye.